Hello YouTube, in this video I'm going to show you how to select hardware for your hardware. Now, let's say you're looking for a video card. First thing you need to do, find out what kind of motherboard your computer has in it. And if you go back to one of my previous videos, you'll see a video that shows you how to use a little program called CPUID. If you bring up your CPUID or CPUZ, if you don't have it, you can go download it or pull up one of the other videos that shows you how to use CPUID or CPUZ. The main one that shows you CPUZ, I believe, is the video that shows you how to change out the RAM in systems. This will give you your information on your motherboard, and all you got to do is on the tab that says main board, once you get CPUZ up, is click on it. And as you can see right here, I have the ASRock 970 Pro 3. So let's say I want to go find a video card for it, but I don't know what socket I need. I'm going to Google the ASRock 970 Pro 3. There's the ASRock 970 Pro 3. And this is going to give me a general idea of absolutely everything that this particular motherboard will support. Now, first things first, right off the bat, I don't really need to go to the specifications, but I'm going to anyway. I can already tell you that if I want to put a graphics card in there, it has a PCI Express X16 socket. And if you look right here, two PCI Express, two X16 slots. So I got to look for a PCI Express video card. So at this particular point, I can go to Newegg, and right here you have all the various types of hardware. In this particular case, I'm looking specifically for a video card. Not only am I looking for a video card, but I'm going to say I have a budget of no more than $100. So I'm going to be looking for, you know, a decent cost-effective video card. So you go to the video cards, and again, if you didn't see that, it's going to say video cards and devices on that drop down whenever you go up there. There's several different brands, and you're going to select the desktop graphics card because you're looking for it for a desktop. There's several different brands, but what I'm interested in is price range. So let's say, you know, I got $100 to spend. I want to get a good video card that's between $75 to $100. You select that option and it'll show you all the video cards that fall in that particular price range. Now, I tend to avoid the ASUS cards. I have a lot of issues with ASUS. I've had a lot of hardware problems with ASUS. Most of the others I haven't had too many problems with. I tend to avoid the PNY products too. A lot of the PNY products do have a lifetime warranty or some sort of a manufacturer warranty, but there's some of them that, some of the chips, I don't know what it is, but there's some of them that have a few issues. But I've also had a lot of good luck with PNY, so it really just kind of depends on what it is. Like for example, right here's a PNY. This is a GT640 1 gig 128-bit 3D graphics accelerator card for $79.99. That wouldn't really be a bad card. Here's a Sparkle DMS. That's a GeForce 212 512 meg 64-bit card. And that's kind of a step backwards for a higher price. So if you look for the exact same $84.99, you can get a Jayton GT430 1 gig 128-bit DDR3 graphics PCI card that'll work in your system. It is a low profile card for $75 to $100. Most cases you're not going to get a super high-end video card. It's going to be a good video card, but it's not going to be one of the super high-end video cards. You want super high-end, you're going to drop anywhere around about $250 to $600-$700. So in this particular list, if I had $100 to spend, in all honesty, I would probably go with that 128-bit card. is on this list, that card so far is about the best one. And if you look at the clock speeds, it'll tell you quite a bit about that card. So to be able to look at those clock speeds, you select the card and then go to details. And you can see right there that it's a low profile form factor. PCI Express 2 X16 made by NVIDIA. It is an NVIDIA chipset. It's the GeForce GT 430 Fermi. 1 gig, 128-bit memory interface, DDR3 RAM, DirectX 11 compatible. It has 1 HDMI output, 1 DMS59. You can actually split it to a dual DVI. Your RAM DAC is 400 megahertz. Maximum resolution is 2560 by 1600. It does not support SLI. It does have a cooler with the fan, but it's not wanting to tell you how many CUDA cores or anything like that. So granted, yeah, that one's a better card, but with it not having the full listing, I would be a little bit questionable on it, but most of them are going to be decent. This one's actually going to have quite a few CUDA cores, and I can tell you that the core speed on it is actually pretty good. That is a decent video card. But in all honesty, I would really move more for one of the Sapphires, a Sparkle, or an EGA, EVGA, MSI, the Galaxy, even the Vision Techs are alright cards. But I mean, you can pick any one of these cards that you want based off the price range and the fact that it's compatible with the hardware that's in your system. Now, there's absolutely nothing that says that you have to actually sit there and dig through the one that's $75 to $100. You can very easily hit back, and you can dig around in any of them that's 50 to 75, 25 to 50, and 10 to 20. I promise you, you're not going to find very many good 3D graphics accelerator cards in the 10 to 25 and 25 to 50 range. You can find some that are in the 25 to 50 range. I've got one in this system that is a real good low profile card that I only paid about $44 for. But, you know, I wouldn't go any lower than the 25 to 50. As you can see, there's 119 video cards, and it'll tell you beside in parentheses how many's in there. And this particular motherboard, if you go back to the ASRock page, it'll tell you everything that it has. So let's say I'm wanting to look for a hard drive. Well, hey, look, it has SATA 3 slots, which means this thing can run SATA 3, SATA 2s, and SATA 1 hard drives. So I have an option, a vast option in hard drives. And you can very easily search for hard drives. It'll even tell you what information you need for what kind of speed or RAM. And based off of that, you can go in and tell you how much RAM you need. So the biggest thing is finding out what your motherboard is and what it itself will support. Once you find that out, it'll even tell you the processors. So right here, support for socket AM3 Plus processors, which means I can stick any AM3 Plus in it. Support for socket AM3 processors. It'll run the 6-core Phenom 2s, the 4-core, 3-core, 2-core, except the 920 or 940. It'll run the Athlon 2 4-core, 3-core, or 2-core, and Sempron processors. Supports 8-core CPUs, which most of your AM3 processors, you'll be able to get an 8-core processor that way. You have the 4+1 power purchase design, which means it actually uses two 4-pin power ports for the processor. And right here you got memory, dual channel DDR3 memory technology. It runs 4, and it'll support up to 32 gig of RAM. This one says maximum system capacity of 64 gig. Well, the booklet in mine says that it's only 32. They may have changed that. It may actually support 64 with the newer BIOS upgrade. So, you know, if you find out what motherboard you have, which again, the CPU program, once you hit mainboard, will tell you exactly what you have. You can go in here and take a look, and it'll tell you everything you need to know on what hardware you need. Now see right here, it even has a specification: 1866, 1800, and 1600 memory speed is supported dependent on the AM3 Plus CPU you adopt. which means the higher speed RAMs depend entirely upon the processor as to whether or not they're going to work right. Again, you can run any of the SATA 3, SATA 2, or SATA 1 hard drives. This will give you all your different connectors. I mean, it tells you everything you need to know for purchasing hardware. Now, you don't have to go just to Newegg to find hardware. You can also go look at Amazon. So you're right here, computer video card PCI Express X16. Here's a lot of different options. There's a Vision Tech. That's a real nice video card, $168.77. Here's a really good one for a decent price. The NO3D NVIDIA GeForce GT 630 4 gig RAM HDMI out. It'll do the 1080p. That's a real good video card. It's got plenty of video RAM. So it's really entirely your option where you want to go between the two, what your price range is, and you really need to know what your motherboard is and the details on it, the specifications, so that way you know what your system will support that you can run. That's the largest majority of being able to find hardware for your system. As long as you know that, you can pick out processors, you can upgrade your processor, you can upgrade your RAM, you can put in better video cards with it having two of the PCI Express sockets. You can actually run dual video cards. If you have a set of video cards that are SLI or AMD Crossfire compliant, they'll work. And I mean, that's really something you absolutely have to know for picking out hardware. This information's out there for absolutely everybody. And as always, watch, like, and share, and have a good day.